The divine masculine, he very well could be hiding some truths from you, but more importantly from himself. And I want to say that veil, it's lifting this weekend. Can he handle what he sees within these truths being illuminated? Divine feminine, you got the Wheel of Fortune coming through this weekend for you. And so what I want to say is your soul knows. Your soul knows it's time. You're done waiting. You're done dimming. Your destiny is calling you, and you are finally listening. And the combined energy, I love it. We get the Page of Cups. And so this is saying there is a message coming. There's going to be a gentle, unexpected message, and it is going to be heart-led. This could be an apology. This could be a reach out. Do not overlook the small signs, because this weekend's doorway is saying, hey, it's opening the twins up to something big. You're not going to want to miss this message. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let's talk about these weekend energies. Hey, good morning. Welcome in. Welcome back, everybody. It is Laura, and let's talk about these weekend energies, because the energy is major for the Twin Flame Collective. We've not only got this full moon in Libra today, we also have the sun in a conjunction to Chiron, and we've got Venus stationing direct. And then diving into the moon in Scorpio tomorrow, and it's going to meet up with Lilith. And so we are in a sacred 3-day alchemical rite of passage that began yesterday. So if you missed yesterday's message for the twins, you're going to want to go back and watch that, because we are in a major portal of balancing out these partnerships and getting back into a place of harmony. So let's break it down, because there were several aspects pulling this energy together with the full moon in Libra. It is going to be in a square to Mars. It's going to be in a trine to Jupiter. And it's also going to be conjunct the ascendant in Libra for my local area. Change that around and pull a chart for your local area if need be. And it's also going to be square that midheaven in Leo. And so this is a big one. And this is huge. This is where I feel everything that's culminated for my own personal journey reaches that full circle energy from all the way back in 2019 for me, where we did have 2 full moons in Libra back in the spring of 2019. And that was in between my Kundalini awakening that took place. And so this is where all of this tension, I gotta say, meets emotional vulnerability for the counterparts. And so this square with Mars, it's going to create friction. And the download that I received with this is the divine masculine, or whoever holds the masculine polarity in this connection, because you could be a woman and hold the divine masculine polarity. You're going to be feeling triggered. You're going to be feeling emotionally raw, and you're going to want to protect your heart at all costs, is really what came through in this download. And so this square for the masculine collective today is all about confronting these passive aggressive tendencies. And that's that Mars in Cancer energy, right? There's avoidance, there's coping, there's fear of intimacy that comes through with that Mars in Cancer energy. And I do feel this really is clearing for that sacred union. And so the divine feminine really is just being called to embody that grace under fire, is how that came through. Do not fall into codependent peacekeeping. That's that Libra full moon energy. I know this moon is transiting through my 8th house of Libra. And so we have to release the codependencies of trying to keep the peace or keeping ourselves small. We have to stay heart-centered in our truth in these energies this weekend. There's a very strong invitation for the divine feminine to no longer abandon yourself. Especially just for the sake of keeping harmony in any kind of connection, whether it's with your counterpart or in any other type of connections, whether it's friendships or family situations. Just you can't keep the peace just for the sake of keeping the peace. So let that discomfort show you where this love wants to grow, because with that trine to Jupiter and Gemini, this really is a blessing feeling. It's a blessing energy, I feel, filled with insight, optimism, and all of this higher conscious expansion. And so Jupiter does bring good fortune. It really does. And It was retrograde. We went in deep with that Jupiter in retrograde connected to the twins because it was retrograde in Gemini. And now we're coming into good fortune, growth, and these new higher perspectives about these connections. And so the Gemini energy is inviting communication. It really is. Duality, that truth telling, that truth seeking energy, and that higher conscious wisdom. And so the Jupiter energy under this full moon is really helping both of the twins to see that higher perspective and to release all of these old stories, right? Especially related to how we connect in romance and how we communicate and the type of partnerships that we choose. Because let me tell you, I had a bad picker for the longest time, and understanding the patterns of why we choose what we choose and why we keep choosing to repeat the same patterns until we can transcend them. And so the download connected to that aspect with this full moon really is get ready for divine downloads. 444 on the timer. We are protected. The synchronicities are loud. The epiphanies are coming through at lightning speed. And this trine is bringing in that telepathic communication. If you've been feeling disconnected, the telepathy is going to be loud. It's going to be back online, not only with your counterpart, but with your guides and the universe at large. And so conversations are going to shift this connection forward, and everything is going to feel, I want to say, serendipitous throughout the weekend. We're going to receive a lot of 3D confirmations. We're going to be seeing their name. We're going to be seeing the signs. We're going to be hearing the songs, and there could even be a spontaneous reach out. I do feel the Divine Masculine Collective is going through a major mental expansion, and this is creating space for all of these new emotional truths to land in the physical reality. And for the Divine Feminine, this energy is supporting that expansion for you to stay curious rather than being reactive, and to allow that space for your spirit guides to guide you through all of these thoughts rather than spiraling in those loops, okay? The conjunction to the ascendant in Libra, this is going to be highly personal, especially if you are a Libra ascendant. It's going to be highly personal with the full moon rising on the horizon, conjunct that ascendant. It does mark a moment, I want to say, of emotional revelation, especially connected to personal identity, especially if you are a Libra rising. And so this is like a portal moment, I want to say, for divine embodiment, to become the most authentic version of yourself, because that's what really holds the key in these relationships. And so the download connected to that conjunction really is a reflection of the union frequency. And so this is guiding both of the twins back to each other through those mirrored interactions, right? The journey is a mirror. But we do still have our own thoughts and feelings, even though they can be mirrored throughout this connection. This is a very powerful conjunction, I want to say, for manifestation, for calling in the counterpart through that higher vibrational alignment. And with that square to the midhaven in Leo, this is like a destiny point, a flavor of destiny point, I want to say. This is all about our public role, right? The MC, or the 10th house, is our public role. It's our reputation. It's our soul purpose. It's our highest expression in the public eye. And this is going to bring forward themes of our ego versus our soul expression. This is all about authenticity in the spotlight, right? And so how can you let go of performance in relationships? Because the download really was pushing us towards living our truth publicly. We have to live our truth publicly. We have to let go of all of the outdated roles and masks that we both have worn, especially connected to our spiritual community. And so the MC in Leo wants bold, heart-led truth. And so this full moon square in it is saying, are you living the love story your soul actually signed up for? Or is your ego replaying the old story over and over again? Because the Libra energy, the Libra moon energy, is that sacred mirror. Trust me, I know. I'm a Lilith in Libra. And so it's bringing all of these imbalances to light so we can clear them, so we can achieve that 0 point of harmony. It's activating these heart-based awakenings for both the Divine Feminine and the Divine Masculine. We're always going through expansion connected to where we have been in emotional avoidance, or where we're still connected to that fear of intimacy, or any codependent, people-pleasing tendencies, which has been blocking these unions. And so we're at that cosmic reset happening right now, because giving and receiving does need to be balanced. And that is when we ground in that lens of sovereignty, when there's equality and equanimity in these connections. And so there's a stream of heart cleansing going on this weekend. There's a stream of emotional awakening. The DM is softening and the DF is releasing attachments, is really what this is feeling like. It's less grasping, it's more receiving, it's less fixing and more allowing. And so the full moon is washing away all of these illusions. Love does not need to be earned. A lot of us have a deep-seated childhood wound where we feel like love needs to be earned, and it doesn't. We simply are loved just as we are. And so there's going to be this emotional culmination in the energies this weekend, especially connected to love and these connections. There's going to be a deep karmic purge as well of all of the old ways that we have each shown up in this relationship or past relationship cycles. And there's going to be triggers, but the triggers are blessings, because we got to cut through the truth, or we got to cut through the illusion with the truth. And that does mean a lot of tension being stirred up in these connections. And so I feel the feminine energy is rising in her sovereignty and balancing her inner masculine energies this weekend. And I feel the mirroring between the twins is going to reach its peak, like that twin peak energy, where we're going to be feeling each other. I think we're going to be feeling each other. We're going to feel each other's heightened emotions. There's going to be a lot of nostalgia, and it's going to trigger frustration. So don't take these energies as a setback, because this is a major realignment that we're walking through. And these energies really are supporting all of this taking place with the Sun conjunct Chiron and Venus stationing direct. These are supporting elements. And so this is where our inner warrior meets that wounded healer, right? And so there's a soul surgery, I want to say, a spiritual surgery moment this weekend, especially connected to these core identity wounds around abandonment and worthiness and fear of rejection. And trust me, we all got to work through these wounds. 11:11 on the timer now. It can feel incredibly vulnerable to open up and share these wounds, but at the same time, it's freeing as well. And so we are healing this weekend the very thing that made us hide our true self in these connections and in love. And so there's a massive heart opening this weekend, especially for the divine masculine who may have historically denied or avoided their emotions, likely due to shame or fear, or even just that false programming. Look at society at large. And the Chiron energy here, I want to say, is saying it's safe to feel. It's safe to feel love. And the divine feminine, this is an activation for your divine embodiment. And you've got to choose not to shrink yourself. You've got to choose to no longer chase love or chase validation, but to just stand fully in that soul truth and to let that wound become your power. We all have a core wound, whether it's an Aries, Taurus, Gemini, whatever that core wound is. Stand in that wound and stand in the power of that wound. Because I do feel the energy from Friday is kind of bringing it back into this reading with that Empress and the Ace of Cups from Friday's message, which is self-blessing. It is softness. It is that divine reclamation for the divine feminine. And with Venus stationing direct, this is just gorgeous divine timing. And so Venus is exalted in Pisces, but this is also where the feminine must become her purest form of unconditional love. It's about forgiveness and spiritual union. And forgiveness does not give people permission to not be accountable for the pain that they have caused us. We forgive for ourselves. We don't forgive for the other person. And so this retrograde journey was a 40-day journey into the heart, into the noose of the soul for the divine feminine, which was all about reevaluating love, sacrifice, illusions, and longing, especially in these karmic dynamics where love was very unbalanced. And so I did do a divine feminine reading a while back at the beginning of Venus retrograde. I'll see if I can find it and tag it to the end. And it was a 40-day journey into the heart. It was a very significant message. 40 is a very significant biblical number. And the messages, I feel, might finally feel like they're coming full circle from that original divine feminine reading. But there is this energy, I feel, of a new chapter in love is about to begin. And I do feel this time, this is going to be love that is aligned. It's going to be awakened, and it's going to be heart-led, not ego-led. And so there's a big energetic shift. There's movement. There could be divine counterparts reaching out, or just finally understanding what this connection really is this weekend. And there's this divine feminine rebirth happening. You're no longer dreaming of love. You're just going to embody it. And that's when union can really take place. And so that's going to draw in the energy of the masculine being healed like a magnet. And then let's talk about Sunday, because with the moon going into Scorpio and conjuncting Lilith, and it's going to be square Pluto, this is where the shadowy energy comes in a very profound way. Scorpio, death, rebirth, intimacy, depth, and truth. Lilith, the exiled feminine, right? It's like Lilith was exiled from the garden because she did not want to be submissive to Adam. She wanted to be an equal. She wanted equality and equanimity. And this is where the feminine regains her unapologetic wild self, right? That untamed soul comes back to life. And so the moon transiting through Scorpio and conjunct Lilith is going to bring all of these buried things beneath the surface to light. This is going to be the raw truth of our desires. It's going to trigger grief. It's going to trigger longing. And it's going to trigger us taking back our power, divine feminine. And so the divine feminine is reclaiming, I feel, all of the parts of herself that she hid, that she denied, that she thought were unlovable. And the divine masculine is going to confront the parts of his soul that he avoided too, just to feel safe. So all of these old patterns are going to be rising to the surface this weekend. There's going to be fear of loss. There's going to be fear of not being chosen. There's going to be this fear of being too much or not enough. This is the final purge, I feel. It's the final purge. It's the final chance to feel it all, to release the disbelief, and to prepare for this sacred storm after this still reflection. And so I do feel there's going to be a lot of emotional intensity. There's going to be a lot of psychological breakthroughs this weekend. There's going to be power struggles and shadow projections in those karmic relationships. There's going to be soul level transformation. We're going to be breaking free from the old karmic emotional patterns that keep us stuck in these karmic loops. And there's going to be deep soul confrontations. And so this weekend, I want to say, is a divine rite of passage for the twins. There's going to be heart awakening. There's going to be a climactic mirror, and there's going to be the shadow walk. And so this weekend is filled with all kinds of layers, but there's going to be clarity about the past. I think the divine masculine is going to be working through fear of losing control, fear of being vulnerable, fear of being seen for who they really are behind the mask. But this is the portal to their emotional liberation too. The divine feminine, you're going to be dealing with all of these old abandonment wounds and fear of being too much or not enough. But this is a powerful time to reclaim your soul's sovereignty. And by the end of this portal, I do feel that soul alchemy is going to be complete, but only through the energy of surrender. Give it to God. The floodgates are opened. The floodgates of emotion, truth, and soul memory and this divine love are wide open. And the Pluto energy on Sunday is going to say, if it's real, it will rise from the ashes. If it's false, it's going to burn down to the ground. And so anything false, anything shallow, it's got to go. We're shedding, we're evolving. And by the end of this portal, I want to say the only thing that's going to remain is raw, real, and readiness for that sacred union. So the channel message for the divine feminine, the guidance for you that came through for me is you are no longer going to be the one who waits, who begs, or who bends. You are the one who remembers to reclaim and to radiate. And so let your love flow like that waterfall that came through in Friday's message. Let it cleanse you. You're not going to be chasing anymore. We should never, ever be chasing love. The divine masculine leads, and the feminine is the magnetic pull. The union lives within you first and foremost, divine feminine. You call your counterpart home by embodying that sacred sovereignty. The message for the divine masculine, you are safe to feel. It is safe for you to feel. The pain that you have buried deep down inside does not make you weak, makes you ready. When you face it, you're ready. You're ready to rise, you're ready to speak, and you're ready to move towards love without that armor around your heart. You are being called home to the heart. your own and hers, your divine counterparts. And so let's see what needs to come through with the cards today. Let's see what the weekend energies have in store for the twins. So stick around and let's find out. I gotta say, this spread is deep, it's raw, it's real, it's radiant, it's transformative. So let's break it down layer by layer. This is a pretty significant twin flame reading for the weekend energies with this Libra full moon. So we're going to start off with the oracle cards. And so the card that came out for the divine masculine, I am using the Kyle Gray Gateway of Light Activation Oracle cards, and we got the Sword of Light, which to me is like that flaming sword of truth. And as you can see on the card, it says divine protection, cords are cut. This is breakthrough energy. And so I feel this is pretty significant. Definitely this energy of the divine masculine going through a major spiritual breakthrough, and he is divinely protected. And so this feels like Archangel Michael energy coming through very strongly, helping the divine masculine sever these old karmic cords, these old toxic attachments, and all of his limiting beliefs. And so there is clarity cutting through all of the confusion right now. So expect the divine masculine to start making empowered decisions that align with his truth and his higher purpose, because I do believe the divine masculine's path is being cleared with anything that no longer serves his path, and that is being removed this weekend in these energies. Divine feminine, love it. We got the Thoth Light Codes card for you. It speaks of light initiation, the great teacher being born, and awakening to this divine magic. And so I feel you are leveling up spiritually. You are leveling up so hard. This is a moment, I want to say, of sacred remembrance. You are anchoring in all of this divine wisdom from all of your past lifetimes. And so you are likely receiving massive downloads from the higher realms, and you are stepping into your role as a spiritual teacher or a healer. And so this is going to look different for every divine feminine out there, but the presence of Thoth indicates ancient knowledge, reawakening, and perhaps even you being called to use your voice, either writing or channeling, as a tool of service for the collective and for your mission, because you truly are the keeper of this sacred knowledge, divine feminine, and it's time for you to trust in your magic, okay? The combined card out for the twins, we get seraphims gateway. And look at this, is all about voice activation, angelic attunement, and divine support. And so together, the divine masculine and the divine feminine are being divinely attuned. Your connection is being elevated through sound, through intention, and through divine frequency. If you have been hearing the ringing in your ears, for me, it has been constant lately. Or if you're feeling those sudden waves of energy or emotions, or you're being called to speak light language, possibly, this is your confirmation. The seraphim is some of the highest order of angels. They're present, they're facilitating this heart and throat chakra activation between the counterparts this weekend, and your voices are calling each other home. Speak your truth. Sing your soul song, okay? Let's talk about the bottom of the deck, because it was very significant. It was very loud, and it was the Merkaba activation card. This is all about transcendence, ascension, rising up. This whole connection, the whole twin flame collective is being upgraded. This is a moment of collective soul ascension. The Merkaba is your light body activation. It is active, it is spinning. You may feel lightheaded, or you might be having some pretty uncomfortable ascension symptoms. You might be feeling so disconnected from your 3D routines. This is a call for deep rest as well. So you are both being aligned with your soul mission. And even if it looks like separation, you've got to trust that you are ascending together, even if you are walking alone for now, because your light will always find each other again, okay? So let's break it down with the tarot. We've got the divine masculine on the top row, we've got the feminine on the middle row, and we've got the combined energies of the twins on the bottom row. So let's break it down to the masculine first. So what is guiding the masculine to his truth? What divine messages are coming through for the masculine this weekend? And we did get the Ace of Cups in reversed. And so this is a releasing of all of the withholding of the emotional vulnerability. This is a releasing of the struggles connected to self-love. This is the releasing of all of the emotional blockages on the heart. And so I do feel this is basically the mask that the masculine has been wearing, right? He's been wearing this mask of fear, or fear of confronting the wound. And I feel all of that is pouring out. All of that is being released. And so the mirror energy, what is being reflected back to the masculine through the divine feminine? Well, we get the Queen of Pentacles. And so she's mirroring back to him her strength, her stability, her groundedness, and this is triggering that longing for stability. He's viewing the divine feminine as his sacred home. And I do think he's idealizing her in this nurturing energy. And so that really is being reflected back to the masculine. We got the Ace of Pentacles for the third card out, which is the breakthrough. This is the emotional truth that is awakening within him. This is the new beginning. This is it. He's got to reach out and grab it. It's got to be grounded. They've got to come in and offer a real chance to build. And I think he's seeing that right now in these energies this weekend. And the last card out is the High Priestess in reversed, which is the integration. And so this is all of the secrets that have been withheld coming to light. They're coming to light. He's reclaiming his emotional power. He's seeing the truth. He's no longer going to be overly reliant on external advice. This is him reconnecting to his intuition with a bombardment of secrets coming to light. And I did pull a dark mirror card for each of the counterparts. And the dark mirror card that came out for the masculine is the masquerade card. And so they have been hiding behind a mask, right? They've been performing for others, living inauthentically. But I got to say, the mask is cracking. The illusion is breaking. And this definitely does connect to the Sword of Light card that came out for the masculine. The cords are being cut. Their internal being cut. Their ancestral wounds being cut. The divine masculine is confronting this deep emotional resistance to always needing to wear this mask. And they're realizing now they cannot bypass this work anymore. Okay, so let's get into the divine feminine, because you are in a major shift here. The first card out for you is what codependent dynamic or imbalance is surfacing. And I just feel this is saying you're going through a major shift. So whatever is coming to light for you, it is being released. The patterns are being released in divine timing. This is a card of divine timing. You are at a destined turning point. You are aligning in the releasing. And so all of this is fated, destined changes. You are expanding, I want to say, beyond the patterns of codependency. And the next card out for you is the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. And so this is asking you, what is it that you need to embody to step into your power? Stop waiting. If you're tired of waiting, stop waiting. If you're burnt out from giving with no reciprocity, stop giving, stop investing, take back your power and pour it all back into you, because the next card out, Divine Feminine, is the Empress in reverse. And this is the expansion. This is what you are being invited to surrender, which is this feeling of disconnection from your own self-worth. Stop overgiving. Stop neglecting the self-nurturing energy that you're here to embody. This is what you are invited to surrender, your lack of self-worth. Step into your worth. Step into your value. Know that you are the true embodiment of divine feminine frequency. And the last card out is the Four of Wands, which is the reclamation for you. What part of yourself is returning through this purge? Well, this is despite it all. You know that union is sacred and divinely guided, and you are taking back your power. You are integrating your inner masculine and feminine, and you are walking through the doorway of this greater transcendence, ascension, and union of self. I've got to say, you are rising up, divine feminine. But the dark mirror card is the fragmentation card. So you might be feeling like you're in pieces, but the beautiful part about being in pieces is you get to put yourself back together any way you choose. I just feel right now the divine feminine is being stretched between dimensions, stretched between timelines, desires, and fears, and all of those fragments are sacred parts of yourself that you're going to put back together in order to become whole again. And this so tightly ties in to the Thoth light codes. Really, it does, divine feminine. And so I feel like you are remembering your divine power, but you are also currently navigating a very tender process of rebuilding yourself from all of these soul fragments into a place of sovereignty, right? And I do quickly want to touch base on the bottom of the deck. We get the atonement card. And so this is where the twins atone for the past life sins and the past life separation. It is that wounded healer energy, you see, almost like the 10 swords in the back. And so we have to atone from the betrayals in these connections. We have to remember who we are. And this isn't about seeking revenge or vengeance. That is God's to seek out. Let's talk about the combined energy, because the first card out is the Three of Swords. And so this is pretty significant. This is the sacred mirror. This is what is being highlighted between the twins. And so the mirror of healing from heartbreak. Even if it's not fully healed yet, forgiveness energy, I have to say, is rising within these connections, right? And then we get the Hermit in reversed, which is the karmic release, the false timeline, or the illusion that is dissolving. And so I gotta say, this isolation is ending. There is a call to the soul to come out of hiding and to bond within and within each other. And so really the release is the illusion of separation, I feel. The illusion of isolation. And then we get the Page of Wands as the next card out, which is the soul truth, which is rising between the twins. And there is this truth that, like, hey, the spark is still there. The new inspiration is coming. The reigniting of passion and purpose is still there. It's still between the twins. And then the last card out, I want to call it the Union Code. And this is what is aligning energetically for reunion and deeper connection. And look at that. It is the brand new beginning of that emotional openness where we can begin again. Slowly but surely. This is messages, this is dreams, this is telepathy, this is heart and throat activation. Both of the twins are learning to express, I want to say, and not repress or suppress. And so I feel with the Palace of Wands on the bottom of the deck, this connection, let's face it, it is not ordinary. It is a divine temple of fire, of passion, of mission, of spiritual purpose. And the twins are building a new paradigm of sacred love. The twins are building new earth energies, but we each need a solid foundation of self, not built on masks or fragmentation. And so back to that atonement card, there is a karmic balancing, right? Both of the counterparts are being called to take accountability, to own their wounds, and to release any martyrdom or guilt, because there's a very heavy undertone of soul contracts being rewritten. And so the advice oracle card, I love it. It is the Soul's Journey Oracle card deck by Lightworker Tarot and Oracle on YouTube. I love her decks. We get live your soul's purpose. And so this journey is not just about union. It is about stepping into who you were always meant to be, right? And so our greater purpose is connected. We are encouraged to embrace it. And we are here to remember that we need to demonstrate love and compassion in everything that we do. And so I want to say the cocoon is cracking. It's time to crack to it because we get the transformation card on the bottom of the deck. And both of the twins are being reborn individually and collectively. And so really reevaluate relationships in your life that need to be shed, or any external factors that are no longer serving this higher purpose for the twins to come together, because both are going through this process, this portal of divine alchemy. There's a breakdown for a breakthrough. There's a breaking open. I feel the divine masculine is learning to drop the mask, to let love in, and the feminine is learning to recollect her fragmented powers from all space and time, and to stop overgiving. And the union, well, I do feel the union energy is being purified by fire in order to be made sacred once again. And so trust in the process. You're not just transforming, you are transfiguring this weekend. If you would like to go further with me with the twin flame reading, check out the links below. If you're not ready for a reading yet, I do have a twin flame guide. If you are called for the twin flame guide, comment down below twin flame guide, and I will send you the link to download the 22-page ebook. I wish you luck this weekend. I look forward to seeing you all again next time.